preparing my onion for tonight's tea. I've already diced 3/4 of 2 peppers that I've put into here, and I've kept 1/4 aside because I'm going to have a bit of salad with my tea as well. I'm making fajita style meatballs with flatbreads and salad, and maybe trying to be healthy. Doesn't look very good in the middle, is it? Brand spanking new onions and all. Look, what's going on with onions these days? Every time I go near them, they've got something wrong with them. Okay. If anybody else is having trouble with the produce, let me know in the comments below. The rest I'm going to use for my salad, and all I'm going to do is just slice it into thin strips. And while I'm here, I'll just get some cucumber. I don't know about anybody else, but I prefer organic cucumbers. They taste so much better. So I'm going to use about half of that. Now I always take the seeds out of mine. It stops them going watery when you put them into a salad mix. There we go. And then just chop them like our peppers into pieces. I'm also going to add to this a few grapes, which were washed before they went in my fridge, I have to say, so don't come at me. I like sweet things in my salad, and we'll probably put some lettuce and feta on later. So that's my salad made up. For my flatbreads, what I'm going to do is, I haven't got a lot of yoghurt left. I've only got so much left. I don't know if it can see that. Yes, it can. So I'm going to weigh out my yoghurt first and then add my flour, because it's equal quantities of both in this recipe. And a pinch of sugar. I'm using caster sugar in this instance, so about half a teaspoon. So, oops, just pop that in, and about equal quantity of salt. So about half a teaspoon of salt. There we go. And I'm going to mix that in until it all comes together. I'm sure you've seen me do this before, but here we go. When it gets to this stage and it's not going to come together on its own, you need to get your hand in there and give it a bit of a knead. I'll just go and wash my hands. Now this is the time, if it feels too wet, to add a little bit more flour, and if it feels too dry, to add a little bit of either oil or yogurt or milk, whatever you want. So all I'm going to do now is leave that to rest for a wee while and let the gluten develop a bit. I've got here 500 grams of steak mince, which I'm going to pop into this large jug because I haven't got a mixing bowl near me. So there we go, there's that. And then I'm going to use, just take this glove off for a moment. Hold that there. Just because these are wet with you holding onto that, I didn't think of, never mind. Okay, and then using some fajita seasoning, I'm going to use approximately half a packet of this and pop it into here. And we're going to smoosh that, there's a technical term for you, smoosh that into our beef for some flavour. So basically just smoosh it in until it's all evenly coated. Now you can add, if you wish, onion to this, peppers, whatever you fancy. So when you've done that, just make some meatballs with it. The more that you work the meat, it sticks it together and stops it coming to pieces in your frying pan. You can add herbs to this if you so wish. I haven't bothered because there's herbage and seasoning in my fajita seasoning. You could add spring onions to it if you so wish. You could make them into patties instead of meatballs if you wish. Tis up to you. So there's 12 meatballs in there. I'm going to start by browning my meatballs in my pan here. So I'm just going to tip them in all at once. Woohoo! give that a bit of a bit before it gets too hot, and just spread them out. In my other pan, I am going to lightly saute my vegetables, which I have here, because they're going to be going into my sauce. Now I'm starting them off in a dry pan, so I'm going to let these all brown, soften in this pan, brown in this pan. When it gets to this stage and your meatballs are just about cooked, it's time to pop in your vegetables that have been sauteing on the other side. But leave your pan on, because we're going to cook our flatbread. So to your pan with your meatballs in it, you need to add 1 tin of finely chopped tomatoes and a little bit of water. Okay, and we're going to give that a gentle move around. Don't be too rough, because these meatballs have got nothing in there to keep them from breaking up. And we're going to let that simmer for a minute or two while we make our flatbread. While that's been cooking, I've been rolling out my dough. I've got 6 small flatbreads that I'm going to put on, and we're going to cook them on each side and put them to one side for now. So my flatbread has been cooking now for a minute or two, and I'm just looking for my tongs, which are behind me. And you know it's cooked when it starts to look so. So take that one out, put it on a plate and get your next one. Now our meatballs have been cooking for a few minutes, so I'm going to put the remainder of the packet of fajita seasoning in here. Go. And give it a little stir. Don't be too harsh on it. And if you think it needs more water, then you feel free to add more water. We're just making sure that the meatballs are cooked all the way through, really. The only other thing I want to do is pop a tiny bit of sugar, and I mean a tiny bit, it's just a sprinkle over my tomatoes, just simply a sprinkle. That helps with the acidity of the tomatoes. And then turn my next flatbread. So by the time my flatbread's done, my meatballs will be done.